Welcome, welcome, welcome. Monday's getting run by only one company. God is dead.
PTY Ltd. You're about to have your day friggin' ruined. If you've never listened to the podcast before, the premise is we take the worst things we can find from the internet and we use them in an ongoing case to prove that God has abandoned us.
That's it. Designed to ruin your day. You might feel a little bit bleaker after this, but it's fun. It's fine. It's a warm hug. Just tell your friends about it. It's all good. Don't get too shy. This thing cannot always be a God is dead moment. Sometimes we are sitting here going, oh, wow, whoops, God's alive. So look, let us discover with you. I'm Bryce Mills.
I'm Campbell Walker, and I want to start things off on a somber tone. I think.
Oh, good.
I want to take things real dark. I mean, I feel like that's kind of my flavor. Sometimes I do like to explore some dark depths, and it is one which I think is kind of a laser beam dodge because I agree with the message of these climate change activists. However, their communication tactics are dog shit, in my opinion. And I actually think that they're doing more damage than they are good.
It's frustrating because you care about the cause.
I care about the cause, baby.
Yeah, I getcha. Well, I'm going to go much more basic, and it's just generally I am so angry and annoyed at this colouring book for adults that's basically for those that can't even is how it's branded. And it's apparently your therapist says to get it, apparently. If you have a therapist, you should ask them why they haven't prescribed you this colouring book, actually.
Time for me to fly close to the sun, hey?
Yeah, oh yeah. Mr. just released a book. Mr. just released a book with have mental health in it. Mr. just released a book with pictures in it. Mr. had a colouring book last year. Mr. looks pretty nervous right now.
Oh God, oh God,
He's spooked. God. It's not Halloween, it's just God is dead. We can find all the things we're talking about as listeners. You can find it at God is dead, not clickbait on Instagram or YouTube. If you like to follow along, the visuals do appear on the screen. Thank you for increasing our subscribers by about 150 or so in the last 2 weeks or something like that. We're getting there. Let's go. Keep it going. It's there. You can even subscribe to show support if you don't consume it that way.
Hell yeah.
Because, you know, it's all publicity is good publicity.
It's optics, baby.
Let's go. Yeah, the call to actions are in the bottom text. And let's get to case number 1.
God is dead. Case 1. SUV tires.
We're going very specific now.
Yeah, we're going super specific.
SUV tires. So you told us in the intro this is something to do with climate change.
Yeah. So this is something to do with climate change. Climate change, I assume, is something that most people know a decent amount about. And so do these activists. So there was a climate change conference in Glasgow in Scotland. And outside of that conference, there were 60 vehicles, which a few climate change activists went around and they deflated the tires of all the SUVs and then stuck a note or like left a note on the car.
Yeah.
And that note said, "Attention, climate violation." I know.
The word attention is so funny.
Yeah. And I just want to disclaim this by saying I am definitely on the side of the activists, but I really just want to critique their communication because I think it's doing more damage than it is good.
For the full transparency, so there's no ambiguity, I actually think... No, I'm kidding.
I actually want to watch the world burn.
No, dude. I think climate change is a friggin' it's an absolute problem. It's a nightmare.
So brave.
And I'm finally speaking out on it. I'm finally confirming that I do
Thank you
believe
for using
in
your
it.
platform.
I know. Yeah,
for believing in climate change.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure everyone was expecting the opposite.
Can we get a round of applause in the comments about how we're using our platform for good? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, but I do think nuance is important, and I think that we can have a lot of fun with how bad this is. All right, attention. Climate violation. Your SUV contributes to the second biggest cause of carbon emissions rise in the last decade. This is why we have disarmed your car by deflating one or more of its tires.
One or more. They're just doing it for generically anyone.
Yeah.
And we've
disarmed. And I'm like, yes, yeah, I understand that. True. And like all G. However,
you can run idle, by the way. Like you can turn it on without the thing. Anyway, they have disarmed it for the
All right, they've disarmed it. Right. If SUV drivers were a nation, in 2018, they would have ranked the 7th biggest emitter of CO2. Unnecessary luxury lifestyle choices in rich countries are part of what is driving the climate breakdown. This process is already having devastating impacts on people in poor countries, and we won't be spared here either. That is true. All correct. Action is required from you. Go small. Go public transport. Thank God they actually put in a solution. All right.
That's true, right? You can't just be like yelling.
Yeah.
What's
Stop
the
doing
actual
this.
solution?
Stop doing this. However, we don't know how long some of those SUVs were sitting there. So your best case scenario is that the tire is fixable on the spot, that you can inflate the tire. However, most people would want to inflate the tire rather than replacing it with a spare, and you might need another truck to come out.
Right.
So already we're using even more potentially diesel into the air to get that second truck that has like a pump on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. But then there's also the problem that tires are something that people give a shit about. You know, that whole thing, like you spend money, whatever comes between you and the floor, you spend money on, shoes, tires.
Yeah.
So you've got the potential scenario where your tire has been deflated for so long that it's now unsafe to use. And so it needs replacing. And what that creates is basically a spare tire that was a perfectly good tire goes into landfill.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean.
So there's all these weird outcomes, I think. But the likely one is definitely that someone's got to come out and pump those tires. So we are not really doing it for the environment, in my opinion.
It's to teach them a lesson, but the consequences kind of negate the lesson in what you're saying.
Now, where I really disagree with it is the social outcomes. So the lesson that we're trying to teach these people is, oh, you have an SUV, you should use public transport. Yep, I'm all cool with that.
Yeah.
So somebody did a bit of research on that exact car, and apparently that person was a pharmacist who actually did have to travel to remote parts of Scotland in the snow and stuff.
Yeah.
So he did have a valid reason for having a 4x4.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but what I will say is, what this type of messaging does is puts an onus on fellow citizens. Like 71% of emissions, we talked about this in the pod. This is like probably the most famous stat that I think people use either to talk about this or to maybe absolve themselves on a bit of responsibility, whatever. 71% of emissions are created by 100 companies, which means, yes, that SUV driver should take some responsibility, but so should the person printing out the flyer and causing potential tire wastage. If those are I don't know, if that's your ticket to, if that's the price of admission to fight this battle, personal responsibility, you know, if that's the truth that you agree on before entering this, then you also have it.
Yeah.
So I would assume then that the activist would actually be taking a consequentialist view of morals, where it's like, no, but it's about the ultimate end outcome of this.
Yep.
And that ultimate end outcome will convince these people who theoretically have influence in a climate sphere to use public transport. However, I disagree with that as well, because I think bullying people into using public transport is definitely going to have adverse results. I mean, you're probably going to drive people away from your cause. And I would imagine that the victims of these tire slashings are going to associate the climate change movement a little bit more with being massively inconvenienced.
Right.
And that's not good, man.
Yeah.
And then the other part, and this is kind of what we're contributing to, is the fact that people will see this on the internet and lump a bunch of shitty people with some good ideas in with actual climate activists and people who actually give a shit.
That's my question, is like, how did this come onto your desk? Like, what was it, someone who was there went viral, like on posting it, or like, how has this sort of come into, you know, a big story?
So I think somebody posted it on their own social media, and then somebody put it into like a Reddit, like one of the various cringe subreddits.
Yeah, right.
On like, this is not how we should be behaving.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, bullying is not how you win people over. You can have a great message, but if you have bad communication strategies, you actually end up damaging the world in the opposite direction. And I think for me, like when I first saw this, I was like, man, like if you are a climate activist in that situation, you're seeing these 60 SUVs lined up and you're like, let's punish them. You have that option. And fuck, man, according to this flyer, you are in one of the richer countries. You can get complacent people onto your side by using positive tactics. Like imagine if instead of that, it was like a prepaid bus ticket. Imagine if it's like, here's 10 free rides on the bus because of reasons A, B, and C. You'd win people over so much better.
Damn, that's a tough freaking situation, because I get they're passionate, but maybe you're right. You know, maybe this is a freaking thing where it's like, hey, now I'm pissed and I associate it with you guys. And now I'm going to turn into a supervillain.
That's my origin story.
It's like The Incredibles or something, the guy with the orange hair.
Yeah.
Wanted to be a damn superhero.
Final judgment.
If you've never listened to the show before, this is the part of the podcast where we ask, does the content that we have reviewed prove whether or not God has left us, Bryce? Is God dead?
Man, this is, like, I think it's just like, what the dead part of it probably is like, you know, I can only imagine that Reddit post or whatever has just like contributed to us making really kind of lazy decisions about people. Do you know what I mean? So like,
tell me,
there's people, whether it be like climate change stuff, veganism, feminism, you know, any kind of political thing. You have an idea in your head of what it is, depending on what your algorithm is and what your like situation is online.
And offline.
And offline, obviously. So like these things can actually kind of crystallize certain images in people's head that just benefits no one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
So true. If you are sort of feeling threatened by the climate change movement and you see this post and you're like, yes, everyone's ridiculing them, then you might take that as an internal win.
and like it's the same with anything. You see it a lot more often with other like political stuff, right? Oh, here's proof that this is a thing. You know, remember like that YouTuber who became a politician? He tried to be Joey Salads.
No.
He was, oh my God, this is prankster, right? Who would make these videos that are social experiments. And he was a big Trump supporter. So he was going around he did one video where it's like having a Hillary Clinton sign in a Trump neighborhood and having a Trump sign in a Democrat neighborhood. And of course, nothing happens in the Republican neighborhood, but then in the Democrat, when it's the Democrat one and he has the Trump flag on his car, all of a sudden these black guys come out with a metal pole and start bashing the shit out of his car, right? And all the comments are being like, I fucking knew it. Yeah, I fucking knew it. Not only are they being racist, but also like, I knew that fucking Hillary fans couldn't fucking blah, 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 blah. Someone was watching this from an apartment and saw Joey doing his intro to the camera, like, "What's up, guys? Today we're going to be experimenting and seeing if Democrats can keep their cool or whatever," or not even saying that, he's acting really neutral. I'm just going to be doing a little experiment, and behind the camera are the three black actors with their massive metal pole, waiting to go in and get the shot where they bash the shit out of the car. But so many of the comments have completely got people convinced that yes, this confirms it for me. This confirms the little seed that I had. It's now a tree. Yes, Joey Salads, you proved it. No need to further investigate. Joey Salads has proved it. And so this just kind of reminds me of that whole phenomenon where, like, again, I don't know how this has been presented or like as much of the situation as maybe someone that was there does or that you do looking at it. But from what I'm hearing, it just kind of gives me that flavor of like no one. It's just a shit thing that happens now on the internet. Does that make sense?
It does.
I'm a bit faded.
No. I hear you, man. I'm going to add to what you said and hopefully wrap this up. But you know that phrase, standing on the shoulders of giants, where we use the information that humans in the past have created or come across in order to progress us further as a society.
Yeah.
In my view of a world with a god or a happy world, we are constantly standing on the shoulders of giants. Now, one giant that I've found, because I wanted to know if this was correct, is a guy called Boris Frederick Skinner, who was a psychologist, behaviorist, author, and inventor and social philosopher. And he was one of those original sort of like psychology granddaddies along with Freud. And his big discovery was about reinforcement. So positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, rewards and punishments. So a positive reinforcement might be like, let's say you rock up to this podcast on time and I give you a bit of praise or I give you a biscuit and you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Negative reinforcement is also within that category of reward. It's not actually a threat. So it would be like the absence of something bad happens to you. So let's say it was raining and I gave you an umbrella. You'd be like, oh, umbrellas are awesome. I get the absence of the bad thing now. Now, both of those he proved to have a...
is that negative reinforcement?
Well, according to him. So then what you're potentially thinking of right now is a punishment. So a punishment is different. So a punishment is...
So I thought negative reinforcement's like in sport where it's like, you're going to fucking, like, you're doing fucking shit. Are you going to fucking lift?
That's a punishment.
Oh, the scolding is the punishment.
Yeah. And punishments are proved to be ineffective. And he found that there are kind of like 4 big ways that punishments were ineffective. Because I'm like, that's kind of what we're seeing here is these people have an SUV, which is theoretically, like in the mind of the climate activist, a violation. I can see that. But now they're being punished for that decision because they don't fit the moral code of the climate activist. That makes sense? So what Skinner defines as these punishments and why they, 4 of the problems that are with punishment. So the first problem is punishments do not necessarily guide people towards the desired behavior that you want. Reinforcement tells you what to do. So could be use an umbrella, could be, like come to the podcast on time. Punishment only tells you what not to do. So I will grant the activists this one because they did say use public transport. So I reckon that one's moot. All right. So the second problem with punishment is it causes increased aggression. So it shows that aggression is a way to cope with problems, and you can develop. So like what might happen here in an actual sense, and probably has happened, is people might have potential resent around public transport use. and potential resent around these activists. So the third problem is you create a fear that can generalize to undesirable behaviors, e.g., like, for example, a fear of engaging in climate change discourse because you're worried that you're going to get bullied. And that, I think, would just keep people in their corner, not where you want them as the activist. And then the fourth problem with punishment is punished behavior is not forgotten, it's suppressed. Behavior returns when the punishment is no longer present. So I think this is my biggest problem, and this is why God's dead, because it's just an inconvenience. Without these activists, all of these SUV owners are going to just drive their SUVs again.
Right.
I call me a cynic, but I don't think there's any lasting change positively, and I think that there is only lasting change negatively. So for the reasons that we are not standing on the shoulders of the people who've discovered what can influence human behavior, God's dead.
And don't get it twisted. I know this is a background medium, so you might be divvying in and out of consciousness. Obviously, we're not saying that this isn't anti-climate change. It's just, like you say, anti-methodology. Obviously, that do you friggin' bit. Let's recycle. Let's do our thing. Let's do our damn research. But I take your point.
Thanks.
All right, look, that was very profound. This is the opposite. This is the absolute opposite.
Yeah, I've just been feeling a little bit, maybe on my high horse a bit about.
Well, hey, giddy up, because we're about to get bucked the hell off with this nasty case.
God is dead. Case 2.
My therapist says to colour.
Yeah.
Man, I do. What would you genuinely guess? Would there be therapists that tell people to do more colouring in?
I would say so.
It's a mindfulness thing or something?
Yeah, when it sort of started popping off in 2013, 2014, 2015?
Dude,
I don't know.
I want to even say yes. You're right, because I remember this guy who I used to live with from America. His name was, I won't say it, but he was like obsessed with this. Adult colouring books are like really going off right now, so I want to make one for charity. But it was essentially so he could profit off it from memory. I don't know. I'm not accusing him of anything, but he's like, and it was just, I remember it was probably about 2016, 2017, and it felt way too late. Like I think they had about a year, right? And it was either, like you say, 13, 14, or 15. They had their year, these adult colouring books, and then all brands started doing it. You go to LJ Hooker to look at a stupid house and it's like, and now your kids can color in a $sign. Like,
here's a mandala.
Draw the sold sticker on this poster,
Yeah.
Mandala.
Yeah, well, now I will be honest with you, Bryce. I put out a colouring book last year. However,
only last year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was last year.
Shit.
I think it was last May. I put out a colouring book.
Last year? I guess COVID did that see them go back into style a bit. And yours, to be fair, had like fill in the blanks stuff. It wasn't just like,
it was an activity book.
Here's
as well.
a picture of
it was kind of how to make memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I remember being very aware that it was quite post-trend, and also being aware that I do not like the mindful colouring category, like colouring book category.
Right.
And so I wrote, you know how you can write a forward? I just wrote one of those forwards that says, I sincerely hope this book cures every one of your problems, like the ones on mental health do.
Yeah.
And that was, I don't know, my way of saying, please still like me, cool people.
And yeah, honestly, that's a good disclaimer to have, because there's these books, there's some absolute bad ones out there. There's some really horrible categories of this kind of thing.
And you've got one today.
Totally, man.
Can you give me like an excerpt from it? Can you read a little bit from the passage of My Therapist Says to Colour?
Yeah, I just can't stop thinking about if LJ Hooker came out with a colouring book.
It's just the thank you, Mr. Hooker girl.
Draw the Tibetan prayer flags on this Newtown share house. That kind of thing. No offense.
Draw all the people who've been priced out of the area by Sydney's rising property prices.
Well, thanks to LJ Hooker. Woohoo! No offense to LJ Hooker. I mean, you're not going to listen to this, hopefully, but it's allegedly, parody. You didn't actually do this. Relax. All right. So, this book that I genuinely saw in the wild, actually, I was at a bookstore trying to enjoy my life, and then everything came fucking crashing down. My chair symbol, therapist, says ... to colour, because it's from the founders of My Therapist Says. I wonder what they actually do. It doesn't really matter, but it says, ignore reality, which is a great thing to do when you're trying to confront your deep, dark recesses of
Ignore reality. Yeah, that's a great opener.
Yep. Yeah. And colour over 50 designs because you can't even. Fuck me, man. So we've dated this.
Is My Therapist Says an Instagram page?
Well, let's have a look. Let's just do a quick little...
That's just what my suspicion is.
My Therapist Says on what's it called? My therapist says Lolatash and Nicole. Oh my God, 6.7 million followers. Oh fuck me.
What?
It's just like a text-based meme page where most of the memes are just a picture of someone like, let's say, is this Kim
Freaking
Kardashian?
out, and it's like
Kim
me
Kardashian
when I
crying.
have to butter my toast.
Yeah, when I ask somebody to give me their honest opinion, but their opinion's too honest. Honestly, so rude. And then there's at my reality says. So that's like my therapist
I
says.
thought we were ignoring reality.
It's reality TV and pop culture. Oh, God damn it, man. It's either serial killer documentaries or Christmas movies. We either slayin' or slayin'.
Ay.
Pun-based.
Ay.
And then the My Reality one has posted a comment because, of course, it's a person, not another account that this person just logged into.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, man. So this is bottom of the barrel stuff. Like, no offense. It's really the bottom of the
Fruit
barrel.
on the floor that we're picking up.
Oh,
That's how low hanging this fruit is. But
Come on, guys. It's just tweets and like, oh no, look at this. Look at this one. People I know liked it. One is an American girl I used to live with who is extremely sweet, but I think by her own admission would be like, oh yeah, I like sort of like, I don't know what you want to call it. Like
chuggy shit.
chuggy stuff. That's great. This guy has no excuse.
Yep.
And it's Janae Aiko, singer. So.
Oh, I love your monitoring of people,
Yeah, I just got to check. I am retired in the sense that I was tired yesterday, and today I am tired again. That's the meme. I'm retired.
Nice.
Me.
Nice.
Alyssa.
Pretty sure you can't say that word anymore. Sorry.
The girl I lived with and that same dude liked the next one the next day saying, me, I'm having a lot of anxiety. Most people, oh no, what's wrong? Me, oh lol, nothing. This is just how being alive is for me. Okay, so that's quite concerning.
All right.
I can't say I'm the chillest dude ever, but we don't love to hear that. I hope that these people, I hope Alyssa and unnamed guy, because he didn't accidentally say his name, are doing okay. Oh my God, these two people keep liking things on this page. This girl is addicted to it. She's liking every single one of their posts. And then this one has likes from other people I know, like Sophie.
This means nothing to anyone.
And then this one has likes from, what the hell, dude? I won't name her because she's like, I probably would be pissed, but that's my friend. And what the hell? And she liked the one that says, my toxic trait is being productive for 20 minutes and then giving myself a 2-hour break. What is this with this relatable stuff, man? Okay.
All right. Bring it home. Bring it back.
So they have a book. Because they've got lots of Instagram followers. They got a book.
They got a book. Yeah.
Right.
I can't blame them.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, but you're saying that this is potentially looks like a cash grab.
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's people that would like this stuff because clearly those memes have 6.7 million people following them at all times. And some of them are friends. In fact, oh my God, this page is liked or followed by 36 mutual followers. Hello, Chloe, Katie,
just unfollow them all.
Christy, Claire,
Oh my God.
Amy, Alyssa, Sibylla, Joe. What? This girl is like a really funny comedian. What are you doing, dude? I mean, it's fine because it's fine. It's actually fine. It's just accessible. I'm not actually pissed. Like, I'm joking.
Oh my God.
But dude, what the hell is wrong? Like, I've probably liked this shit kind of thing before, but like, dude, come on. My therapist says to color. I'm about to prove why you should unfollow this page. 36 mutual followers.
Tell me more about the book, man.
Oh yeah. My bad.
It's so funny.
The Cash Grab, which I found in March of this year.
Yes.
In the bookshop. So who knows when it came out? I can't really tell you. But the first thing I took a picture of, and I did it quite quickly. It's like a, those pictures you have. It's like there's all these squiggly lines. You follow one with your pencil, and it leads to one of like 3 options. A maze of some sort.
Find our baby, and it's like the beard one has the beard baby.
Yeah,
The hat one has the hat baby.
Yeah, you would go to like Pizza Hut as a kid, and you could do those little mazes or something like that.
Sick.
The maze clearly ends in 3 options: a taco, a slice of pizza, or a burrito.
They are
Classic weird person, epically lazy weird person meals.
I like burrito. I am so quirky. I am
face
awkward.
like this, I like burritos.
I am a burrito.
Just doing that kind of smile, like shit Jim Carrey, basically.
Shit, Jim Carrey. All right, so we've got this like find a pizza, find a burrito, and then what's the text?
Well,
say?
they always have to have text because that's how memes work.
Yep.
And it's meant to be funny. I want someone who I can count on,
Oh.
shows up on time,
Yep.
and feeds me. So apparently, I want to date my delivery driver. I don't think you want to fucking date delivery driver.
I can see that being funny when it was a tweet the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I appreciate the structure of that joke.
Not this random coloring. Well, it's not even... This is not even a fun one. You just follow the line that you
until
want.
you get to the food. All right, next.
All right, next we have a picture of... Oh my God, man. You know, like, imagine like pumpkin spice latte sort of fashion, if that makes sense. Autumn, kind of like big hat, scarf, overcoat, stripes underneath the overcoat. But it's a cat.
Yeah.
Wearing this human outfit and with human hands, right?
Okay.
There's not much to color here because it's a black and white striped thing, and the jacket you could color. And
Straight out of typo.
Straight out of typo.
Why have they put so much black in there?
Yeah, that's a funny one, isn't it?
That
It's more
is
like a
strange.
picture
Like,
book.
as someone who's made a coloring in book, that's just not a move you do.
Yeah, and as a therapist, there's not much room to color in here.
Yeah,
so
damn. How are we going to ignore
I'm
reality
worried
now?
about my client. Yeah,
Yeah.
big time. And this says, pay attention to me, but also, can you leave the room? Thanks.
That's how I feel because I have mental health.
I constantly change my mood.
Why am I being such a bully about this?
Well, that's the thing, right? It's not. It's harmless.
It's harmless.
It
Why do I
actually
hate
is
it?
harmless.
Why do I hate it?
But it's inciting something in me.
Yes.
This one's actually quite beautiful. It's a woman, sort of just the head facing sort of to the distance, and her hair's flowing, and there's lots of flowers in the hair.
Mucka.
Is that what it is?
Nah, it looks like kind of that mucka style.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And you could definitely color this in and have some fun. The meme is, wait, so the vibe being off isn't a good excuse not to come into work? Weird.
I guess
I see why that is like a funny thing to say, but why is it making me feel disgusted?
Well, I guess that's what we got to find out now.
Hold on, let me just read you a few more.
Oh, thank God.
I'll just rattle them
bros.
off for context.
Thanks God.
This is a picture of cupcakes and donuts. My diet will start tomorrow, indefinitely. And that's all I have to say on that. Final judgment. Cam, as someone who I know is very attached to this world, what are you seeing from your professional standpoint?
All right. Firstly, I want to sympathize with the people who made this and
Okay.
take the opposite stance here.
Oh, let me
So-
guess. You've been there or something. Let me guess. You've
Let
been
me
in their
guess.
shoes or some
You've
shit.
been there. No.
Let me guess. The last 24 months have been somewhat similar trajectory and you feel fucking empathy or something.
Oh, not even, dude. Not even. No, I wish I was that elevated.
The
No.
Truthless meme pack coming soon. Full of brup moments.
Absolute bra moments, full of moments when you would say, "Uh-oh, I am not human. I am a unicorn."
Full of bin chicken and brup moments.
Yeah, okay. So where I empathize with them is typically your publisher has a lot more say over your cover than you do. And if you've got a publisher who's like, oh, we need to include certain buzzwords like ignore reality because we've found that sells coloring books in the past. How about something so we can capture the late 30s market like I Can't Even?
Yep.
And something that references the fact that you guys have 6.7 million followers on Instagram. So,
And you know what? Like, just to stop you, yes, you can tell these guys are monsters in terms of popularity.
Yeah.
Like, dude, come on, 36 mutual friggin' followers. They've got, 6.7 million on Instagram. I definitely understand that. I'm looking at this as someone who it was never designed for.
yes.
Not in a million years did they think that I would be interested in this book. So I admit that.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
And they are dunking on us financially.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I can very much empathize with when you make a book, and this is a weird thing that I guess I have the authority to kind of talk about.
Yeah,
a little.
for sure.
Your jokes need to be a bit more evergreen or a bit more timeless than when you post something online, and they need to appeal to a slightly wider market.
Yeah.
Because anybody in a bookstore could pick it up, and they might have no context of who you are. I mean, when you showed me this book, we didn't have context that they were an Instagram page, and so they are trying to appeal to anybody.
Cut through.
And they're going to go with their cleanest, safest, most well-performing tweets that they've seen about mental health, but in a sassy kind of tone, and they're just going to pick those out. Get clearly an inconsistent illustrator, no offense.
Wow.
And
yeah,
then
that's right.
just
'Cause some of them need no coloring in, and some of them are like beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. Kind of probably looks like clip art, man. But
It does.
yeah.
Dude.
And so it just feels like this hack job where they haven't drawn it, they haven't written their jokes, but they've stuck it together and they've just said, "Hey, you insecure followers, Buy our shit. Also, it's condescending, and even people who like are self-aware that they are in the adulting category probably won't like it. I don't know, but like, who the fuck is this for?
Well, that's it. Clearly, this girl that I used to live with is getting it.
Yeah, but she's getting the tweets and stuff, and I understand that page. I didn't find it as cringy as you did.
Yeah,
I'm 31
I'm a little
though.
more poisoned. Yeah, well, you're
I'm over the hump, baby.
you're there, bro.
I'm boring now.
Yeah,
I'm dated.
everything changed a year ago.
Yeah, everything changed the day I turned 30.
The day, bro. The
I
day.
was like, oh man, saw this sweet new cat meme.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the year you started inviting me to go rock climbing.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it was all about turning 30.
yeah, man.
I actually liked it though. It was fun.
I bet you did.
Yeah. So with that being said, I don't know. Am I just being too cynical here? I'm guilty of that.
I think so, because at some point you'll become, yesterday's news, and at some point all the jokes you make will become the jokes that get clowned on from younger people. And maybe we should extend an olive branch to the Tugs.
Maybe you want to because you can see dollar signs and you want to work with them.
I'm a filthy capitalist. Yeah, that's my problem, Bryce. No.
No, I get you, man. I get you. We've proven in recent episodes that Cams just wants to be a contrarian lately. So if I go hard on something, he'll be the devil's advocate. And then if I turn around, looks like now you want to be like, oh, actually, but it sucks.
It is a cash grab. It's a freaking soulless cash grab.
So in a good way or a bad way? Because it's like
in a bad way, because I also think like the whole idea of ignoring reality, yeah, that works. Like you can distract yourself out of zones, and that, like I guess that's good.
Yeah.
In some ways, but I don't know if it's the right thing to advocate on the cover of a book.
I was going to say though, it could be worse. Like I feel like with this thing, we've seen versions of this where it actually is trying to trick people into thinking it is a legitimate mental health tool. I don't think they're doing that at all. Ignoring reality is just something that you actually have to be a bit self-aware to even know you're doing, to be fair. So I don't think they're evil. I think they're just, in my mind, a bit painful and a bit sort of like, oh man. And maybe that's just, I need to understand that I don't have to like everything.
God's dead.
Oh, wow. Look, yeah, no, I'm going to say God's dead because I'm annoying. I need to relax. And also, I really went too hard on that case, man. No offense to all the people. I'm sorry to all the people that I was shocked that you follow that page. I don't care. It's fine.
Bryce, you really can't even.
Oh, I'm so absolutely not adulting right now. Call me a can't even machine. Woo!
Woo!
Sorry, it was just a yin yang episode there.
Yeah, wasn't it? I feel
pick
like
which half you wanted, basically.
Yeah. There's something for everyone there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope that by the end of that, you are now feeling like, I don't know, your jimmies are thoroughly rustled.
Totally.
And we are just self-hating psychopaths.
Maybe, man. Look, times to get my therapist gets me a colouring book that also tests for that kind of thing.
Yeah, dude. And then I'm going to leave it on an SUV while deflating their tyres.
Let's go.
In the name of something that I swear isn't narcissistic.
All right. Well, lots to think about. God is Dead, not clickbait on Instagram. YouTube, God is Dead. Please make sure you subscribe there. Leave a review if you can and if you like it. Thank you, of course, and this is kind of a little indulgent, but we've been meeting some listeners lately because we've been allowed to go outside, and it's been really sick, like just to see the actual people that are consuming it, not just a profile pic, a person. And so that's been really sick, and thanks for anyone that's been getting in touch with nice messages and stuff. The best thing you can do is just keep telling a friend about it if you think they'd like it.
It's just keep feeding us with praise.
Keep feeding us, yeah, Augustus Gloop vibes, if possible. And of course, Cam, you're on Struthless69.
Bryce is Bryce females, and God is Dead is God is Dead, not clickbait.
That's true.
Yeah,
all right.
Stutter.
Next Monday's getting run, but for now, love you.
Love you.
Case closed.